right? Yeah.
Somebody get video of this guy doing video. That's it, Ty, attaboy.
Dylan, obviously, we'll get to your offensive prowess in a minute, but to play a team like Pittsburgh, they obviously got some big weapons and kind of really frustrate them and keep them in check. That's one of your better overall defensive games. Looks kind of what you guys want to be doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a total buy-in from everybody tonight. First line, second line, third line, fourth line, where we all looked the same without the puck, and we were great on the forecheck, and really clogged up that neutral zone, made it hard for them, and when we needed to, we battled pucks out, and maybe not always a pretty play, but everybody did a great job of getting the pucks out, and not allowing them so much O-zone time, and something that we really preached about after a Buffalo game where we felt we weren't very good there. So it was a great job by everybody, and big 2 points for us.
Yeah, and that's become such a staple of your game, but Rick said, maybe the last few games that he felt you were getting away from that. So how did you return to it tonight, especially when you guys are probably a little tired?
Mindset, it's honestly just a mindset for us. When we are willing to buy in and play that way, we're a really tough team to beat, and it's quite evident. We look like a different team tonight than we did against Buffalo, and obviously our skill kind of won us that game as long as with Bucky in Buffalo there. But when we all buy in and play that type of style, a style we think that's going to win later on in this season, and hopefully the playoffs. That's a tough style to go up against. We know what it's like going up against teams like that. So if we can continue to do that day in and day out, we're going to do a real good job here.
Just on the subject of mindset, you guys play a good first period, but you come out of it tied. 2 goals obviously overturned. How did you not let that affect you? Because I thought the second was one of your strongest periods of the year.
Yeah, I think we did a lot of good things, and I think sometimes things happen. They kind of got a fortunate bounce, and I lost my stick there and was kind of stuck out there with no stick. So that was a tough one to give up. But I think we understood that our game was in a good spot even with that goal against, and we did have a couple of goals overturned, but we had a couple of good looks too. And we're an older group. We know what our game looks like, and just stayed with it.
Not to go back to that incident, but is it just something you just kind of throw your hands up? You're like, there's nothing I can do there.
Yeah, just a weird play. I don't think I've ever lost my stick, stepped on it on a 2-on-1. So I was kind of in no man's land there, and obviously they made the play and scored, but it's just one of those things. Even if I had my stick and was there and they make a pass through, is what it is. You got to move on and kind of bury it and go on with the game.
You've always been known as a big defensive guy, obviously, but you have more points now than you did last year already, and or game 42 now, 43 or whatever. It's behind. Is it cereal in the morning? What's changed?
Well, it's just something that I've tried to grow in my game and be more offensive, and our coaches have done a good job. I think our system also allows for that a little bit more, and just took initiative and to kind of have that mindset to go after it a little bit and put myself out there instead of maybe staying back and being more reserved. And obviously playing with some really good players and Josh, and you give it to our skilled guys are going to make things happen. So something that I think as I'm getting older here is something that I can continue to grow in my game and trying to help us out there, because I think I've done a good job in my career of being a defensive guy, but trying to be a guy that can also be offensive and a guy that they can trust to put out there, down a goal and things like that. So
you big guys step up all the time, but Cole goes from not sure if he can play to having more assists tonight. What was from him in terms of his development over the course of the first half here nowadays?
Yeah, he's been great for us. I think for a young guy stepping in, playing top line and top minutes. Such a cerebral player. For his size to get around and gets inside, he knows the game very well. His brain and his hockey smarts are his best feature, and I think he's continuing to get better each and every night. And I think he's doing a good job of holding on to pucks and making plays and not being shy to make plays. Sometimes you can deter the guys, especially like Scheif and Wheels, but he's done a good job on his own making plays. And you've seen on this road trip, he's done a great job of doing that. And he's really defensive responsible for a young guy too coming in the league. So he's super cerebral, super smart, and he's having a great year for us so far.
As a group, what can you say about the way that the guys specifically contained Crosby? I'm not sure if he ended up with a shot on goal tonight.
Well, we'll take that for sure. I mean, that doesn't happen too often. Obviously, he's best player and one of the best players of all time. And I think everybody just it didn't matter if it was Crosby or whatever line. We stayed above guys and made it hard on them and made sure that they came 200 feet.
Thanks.
Yeah, you weren't wrong. It is Friday. Mark, I don't know where to start. I mean, 2 goals or Cole Perfetti's 3 assists when he's had the whatever he had last night there, and he looked pretty white after that game spent. But what do you say about Cole, I guess?
Yeah, he just did the simple things. Obviously still wasn't feeling great, and on a back-to-back after not feeling good, it's tough to find the energy. But he battled through, did the right things, and got rewarded.
How tough is that to play the NHL game when you're sick? Because I mean, we've all probably done it, minor hockey or whatever, but the NHL game when you're flu, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think, when you have a cough or you got a head cold, you kind of can battle through it a little more when your stomach's, in knots and you feel like you're gonna puke. It's almost impossible to play. So the fact that he's battled through it, and for a young kid like him to battle through it and feel better and come out and into an NHL game on a back-to-back and get 3 assists, it's pretty impressive. And I think he just got rewarded for doing the right things and battling, and that's the way the good Lord works, is he rewards you from doing the right things, and that's the way it goes.
You bounced back from that first period because you would have had a hat trick tonight, and there was just too quickly that kind of got called back there.
Yeah, that sometimes can derail a team. You get 2 goals. You feel like you're getting some momentum. If the other team comes back and takes control of the game, it can derail you for the rest of the game. Especially on a back-to-back, guys are tired, but we had a lot of we had everyone. In a back-to-back, you need everyone, and every guy played well. Every guy was doing the right thing, and it showed at the end of the game.
We always talk about Dylan Doyle's solid defensive play, ability to exit. Pretty nice one on the tee for you there today. What do you think about his offensive game in terms of that growth that we've seen this year from him?
Yeah, he's worked at it. I think that's what no one sees is the effort he's putting in. Doing video, before practice, after practice, all that stuff. It doesn't just come. It comes with a lot of hard work, and I think that's what you're seeing here. Is he's working at it, he's thinking about it, and he's conscious of it, and each day he's wanting to get better, and a guy does that, he gets rewarded, and I think he's only gonna keep working at it and get better and better from here.
What does it mean for your group to get back to your structure and be so defensively sound when on a day where maybe you don't have the same kind of energy levels as you might otherwise against a kind of high octane team today? You really buckled it down.
Yeah, I think with we had all lines looking the same. Every line was getting the puck deep when they needed to, shutting it down when they needed to, and when you have all the players doing the same thing, it makes it tough for a team to gain any momentum or get any sustained pressure. And then obviously, Ritter made some big saves when he needed him to, and he was fantastic.
How important were those 2 late in the second? You guys were controlling the game, but if it gets to the third 1-1, you never really know what's going to happen. Just how important was it to have that 2-goal lead?
Yeah, and we had our chances and we didn't capitalize, and those were obviously big, and then we did. Then the third period we buckled down. We did the right thing. We got pucks deep, and we made it really, really hard on them to gain any, gain the blue line. Get any sustained ozone pressure, and when we play like that, we're a pretty hard team to beat.
How encouraging was it to see the line kind of really start to click the last couple nights here for you guys? The guys coming back, was going to take some time to get looking like the way you were maybe before the injuries came.
Yeah. I think. I know for our line, that was way more of a template of how we play. We're good in the ozone when we get rolling around, and obviously me and Wheels are big bodies, and when Cole goes to the right spots, good things can happen, and tonight was a good example. I think we can always look back at that one and remember that's how our game should look.
Thanks, Mark.
address that this morning and give the players full marks for responding the way they did. Good for them. But that's probably one of the best games we played all year. Really was, in terms of how we want to play and how you can be successful moving forward. We got there's certainly no passengers tonight. Everyone contributed. Everyone did the job that they were asked to do. And again, give the players full marks for responding. They weren't happy. Even though we won the game last night, they weren't happy with the way we played, and that's the most important thing.
What does it say about Cole? I mean, he's had a great season, but his ability to put the illness behind him and have such a big impact on the hockey game.
It shows he's becoming a good pro, because you learn how to overcome those things. You're not going to feel great every night, especially after what he's been through the last couple of days. But being a good pro means you find a way to succeed and play your game, and he's done that. So he's growing on the ice, he's growing off the ice.
And he's with two pretty good mentors for that. He just talked in the room about playing, things he's learning from Mark and Blake on a daily basis, on and off the ice.
Yeah, no, they're good, two good pros, good examples. So, and he's smart enough to pay attention and learn. Right, so good on him.
Rick, 2 goals called back in the first, so you go into the intermission 1-1 in a period you probably thought you deserved better. Does that show some resolve then to come out and play as well as you did in the second and maybe not sag or feel sorry for yourselves?
Well, you keep looking for solutions. That's what it's all about. And it's a game of inches, and some things, at times they go your way and sometimes they don't. The most important thing is the next shift. And don't worry about what went on. And you move forward, and we move forward from it. And, we're on the bench talking, but no matter what happens, we get ready for the next shift and we move on.
On the PLD challenge, is that something like Maddie is alerting you guys to, or you're ultimately making the decision?
I have full faith in Matt and James. They're watching it. They're going to get different camera angles than we do. If they say challenge it, we'll challenge it.
Right. I take it you obviously you have to abide by the ruling, but you have a different view of it. You felt he was pushed in.
Well, I think it all depends also what camera angle you looked at, and they saw one that looked like pretty adamant that it was pushed in. But that goalie interference, man, that's the toughest one, and you never know which way it's going to go. But you know what, you got to challenge it. If you lose, you lose.
Sorry, is that the frustrating part of it? Like, it is essentially a roll of the dice sometimes?
Well, it is, and you don't. That's the toughest one. The offside is pretty black and white. The goaltending interference isn't, and but you got to stick up for your players too. If they're doing everything you ask them to do, and you think they're in the right, then you got to challenge it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Stuart DeMello had he's more points now this year than he did all of last year. I mean, we understand that, all the D were coming and all that kind of stuff that you were talking about and wanting to, but he's such a defensive guy. Has it been difficult to get him to kind of buy into opening up the taps a little bit, or
no,
is he?
I don't think so. No, he's a smart player. He's a veteran, and they all know now what we expect of our D. That we expect our D to be a big part of our offense moving forward in the transition, in the O zone, and moving the puck out of the zone. So that's what we demand of all of them.
Just a thought on Riddick. Obviously, another tough spot where he comes in, teams playing back to back and facing a quality opponent. Maybe didn't have the busiest night, but made some time.
That's when I go back to the players. They did a fantastic job in front of them. They didn't hardly get any chances tonight, and the players did a great job. When we needed the save, we got it. So good on him. It looked good on him. Okay, thanks.